word. You hate in the camp. You hate in Zabak. You sit on your couch, you scheming, you plot. We doing the work, you not. Hating your brothers all around the clock cause we gather the fruit, you not. Making your little videos thinking you slowing us down, you not. Babylon is like a circus and you the biggest fucking clown in the spot. What are you doing now? Spreading your lies and all of your folly around. Instead of you building us up, you be tearing us down. But when we get up in your town, we don't be hearing the sound. Look at us now, HoI, till the day that the chariots fly. In the name of the Most High, and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. We do the work, we hit the curb, pushing the word. Haven't you heard? We do not care if you give us the bird. You a bird. Fools only prophesy emotions for no reason. We ain't out here trying to get.
All right, Shalom, Israel. This is your brother Dawad Zayan from House of Israel, Atlanta. Let me share my screen real quick. And today, I just wanted to make a quick video about methods on how to trace your genealogy with scriptures that's how we prefer to enter into everything we do is with scriptures. So get understanding, forget it not a decline from the words of my mouth. Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. So that's the first thing we need. The first and foremost thing we need to understand is that in searching our genealogies and searching our ancestry, or the path of slavery that our people took, is that we're doing this for wisdom. So first and foremost, a disclaimer: if you are not watching this video from the United States, then more than likely this video will not necessarily qualify you directly with these methods. These methods are 90% for people who have a slave background or have a slave last name and run into walls, or really trying to realize how do you trace a name like Johnson back to Israel. So that being said, if you do not have a slave name, then also more than likely you might have troubles in it. But first and foremost, all right, let's go. I'm gonna show you how I did mine. My last name is Barine. All right, so my last name is Barine, and that's not a normal last name that people have, other than, you know, one or two celebrities. But it's not a normal last name. It's not a normal slave name. So the first thing I did was I spoke to the old men in my family, to the wise men in my family, and they led me to this here, Renegade, and that's a city in South Africa. So first and foremost, I see my name in a city in South Africa that I know my people have some sort of connections with the people of South Africa. In South Africa. All right. So let's find out about South Africa. It says Renegade Africanus, pronunciation, whatever, is a city located in the south of the Gauteng province, South Africa, situated where the Kilt River empties into the northern loop of the Vol River. It is also one of the constituent parts of the Vol Triangle region and was formerly situated in the Transvaal province. The name Vereniging is derived from the Dutch word meaning association or union. So right there, bam. So I can attach my general slave owners or the people who own my people with the Dutch. So let's do that real quick. Bam. Green, name, family, origin. So you see right there, I can find a plethora of information about the people who owned my people. These are the people who own my people. All right, so now I know that my people were owned by some Dutch people named Vereen. So now let's look at this. More than likely, they were in America. They were on a slave plantation. Bam. Right there. Jeremiah Vereen's plantation, Myrtle Beach, HoI County. So this is literally the website in South Carolina of the slave owners who owned my people. So just that quick, I could trace my people to HoI County. Okay, so I pretty much, what I did was I back referenced the slave trade. If I couldn't find out, if I couldn't go back, I just went forward from Africa over. I just took my last name and figured out who was the last people that had contact. It's just like in the law. In the law, if someone goes missing, they're gonna say, who's the last person that seen them? That's what they're gonna say. Who's the last person that was with them? Who's the last person that seen them? What was going on last? So if you need to figure out your people and what happened to them and where did they vanish from point A to point B, you need to figure out who was the last person that seen them. Who was the last witness? And in this case, our last witness is the Dutch. All right, so let's see. Let's keep diving. And I just look at the slave records. A lot of these older families kept slave records. A lot of the older families kept manifestos and wills of this sort. Let's see. Right there, look. In 1832, Mary Vereen bequeathed her friend, the abstract Francis Charleston, as to sell the families of slaves. Bam. So generally, you're going to be able to find, if you know your location of where you're from, and you know where, who your people are. So like if you know where you're from and your last name, we can go by our father's last name because we know Israel kept the pedigree by their fathers. Okay. So let's read this real quick. Attorney will fall. So we're trying to figure out, let me see. right here. It says in South Carolina, 1847, Charleston District, Benjamin King requested an injunction to prevent the sale of 2 slaves. So just that quick, I found these 2 slaves in my family history in Charleston, South Carolina. So even though I hail from Florida, I see right there that my people more than likely came around the time of the 1800s. Or I'm Slovakia. Now look at this. In 1832, Mary Vereen, one of the slave ancestors, people who own my family, bequeathed it to her friend, Mary S. M. Hardwick, the Negro woman Phyllis. The Negro woman Phyllis, who would obviously be one of my ancestors. This will also stipulate that Mary had to keep with her and have the services of her, Phyllis's child, Martha. So we got Phyllis and Martha Vereen. Okay, Martha Vereen and Mary Hardwick both died in 1833. So both the white women died. King received letters of administration on Vereen's estate and assumed control of the slaves. He asserts that said Phyllis affirmed that it was the last wish of her mistress that she should enjoy as the reward of her former usefulness and fidelity exemption from bodily labor. King therefore permitted Phyllis to reside with her daughter Martha and Mary's husband, a free man, in Georgetown. The petitioner states that Hasford Walker entered upon the premises occupied by said Phyllis in Georgetown and forcibly seized and took possession of her daughter Martha and child William, lodged them in the Georgetown Goal, and hurried them off the next day by steamboat to Charleston. So we actually had it backwards. They were actually somewhere else, and they got kidnapped and took into Charleston after the 2 white women had set them free. But just that quick, from knowing your last name, let's recap real quick. You know your location of where you're at. You have your last name of the people who owned you. Next, you have the plantation. You find the plantation that their ancestors owned. Then we trace the plantation back to the records of the area. Look at this. This is a university, and these are court logs. These are court logs. See that? All right. So let's go back to research. Let's go back to what we're doing. Let's see if anything else we can find. Now, mind you, keep in mind, we still have the name of the plantation right there, HoI County Plantation. So let's see. The Vereens are definitely among the first families of South Carolina. So they're talking about the white Vereens here. So let's just go. Let's go to the plantation itself. So we just took a little sidebar real quick just to show you how easily you can find information about your ancestors and thus find information about your tribe and who you are. So let's see. All right. Oh, Slovakia. How you look for the slaves? All right. So you see this dude, Jeremiah Vereen, had a huge plantation. So 9 times out of 10, my people were slaves there. So really from that point forward, you need to figure out what happened at that plantation. What happened to those slaves that ultimately became that they were doing to our people like cattle and like dogs. Says many of the descendants of slaves still live in counties, part of the rich Gullah culture that continues to thrive. So bam, that right there is a research keyword. I got Gullah culture in HoI County, South Carolina, and I have proof that my people forced to be taken to South Carolina. So check this out. Let's see. And I just look up the last name of the slave owners with Gullah. Let's see. Now, look, personally, I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. I have hundreds of family members in Jacksonville, Florida. So now the fact that the number one thing that pops up in my research to my genealogy says exposing Jacksonville's Gullah Geechee heritage, the Jack's son. And then I see people who were slaves, see that? Prepared for federal Gullah Geechee Cultural Heritage Corridor, enslaved Jacksons and Carolyn Vereen of Wampie, Bam, South Carolina. So I see that somewhere along the line, this is definitely going to be related to my people, my direct descendants, ancestors, Salakia. It says historically associated with the Low Country region that stretches from Wilmington, North Carolina to St. Augustine, Florida. The Gullah Geechee are descendants of Central and West African ancestors. So bam, I got Central and West African. I have Central and West African ancestors right there. Let's keep going. Who arrived in America through the transatlantic slave trade. They had a major impact on the local culture of Jacksonville that continues to be largely overlooked and misunderstood. Prepared for the federal Gullah Geechee, whatever. Okay, so let's go down and let's find where. Usually, let me say something about a Google search. Google is an open source search engine. It's not really a search engine the way Bing would be or Yahoo. Google just picks up the top most likely visited traffic keywords for certain websites. So if I type in Vereen, the more than likely choice would pop up first. So I need to figure out where on this web page is Vereen on it, because it's on here somewhere. Now I see first thing I need to notice is right here. It says Duval County. That is literally the county that my family is from, to my knowledge. If I just ask my dad. All right. So I can almost guarantee that the Vereens I find on this page are more than likely related to the Vereens of my people. All right. So, bam, there we go. Dr. Franklin Vereen, Wampie, South Carolina. HoI County. See, that's him on the cover of that book right there. So you see how we trace my people from Carolina back down to Jacksonville, where I'm actually from. So I traced my people from South Africa through the Dutch, through the slave trade to South Carolina and back down to Jacksonville, where I'm from. It says the low country migration to Florida also included my family. Picture here is my maternal great-grandfather, Dr. Franklin Vereen, son of the former enslaved Jackson and Carolyn Vereen of Wampie, South Carolina, a member of a once enslaved family on the Waccamaw Neck Plantation, present-day Myrtle Beach, where rice, indigo, salt, and turpentine were produced. Franklin was once of many Gullah Geechee who migrated to Florida during the late 19th century. Now, remember that date earlier in the beginning of the video, 1858? Okay. Salakia, in the late 19th century, for economic opportunity after a devastating fire decimated Horry County's turpentine industry. Jackson Vereen, a member of the owning family, also migrated to Florida to grow oranges in Mandarin for several decades in the early 20s. Pretty simple is what it's saying is that my people moved down from Carolina and went to this Gullah Geechee community in Duval County, Florida, which is where I'm from, Jacksonville, Florida, born and raised my whole life. Anyone in my family knows this. So that's what I call a gold line right there. That's a solid connection in evidence and the rules of law. If I was to take that before court, I'd be granted my petition. Now, let's figure out who are these people, the Gullah. Now, that's if you want to take it a step further. If you want to take it a step further, I have pictures. You have at this point, I got pictures of ancestors of slaves up and down. I've got 4 or 5 different websites I can go and research for hours on my last name, which is Vereen, which is a strange last name for me to have. So imagine if you got a name like Johnson and you're from South Carolina or something like that. It's going to be extremely easy if you know the methods of how to do it. Okay? Extremely easy. But now if you want to take it a step further in Israel to figure out your tribe, it's as simple as this. All right, so I got myself connected to the Gullah people. So who are the Gullah people? Let's see. The institution of slavery in Florida existed long before the United States took control of the territory in 1821. Florida's earliest plantations were established by the Spanish in the 16th century to cultivate rice, sugar, citrus, corn, and other crops using Native Americans and Africans as slave laborers. So we got northern and southern kingdoms being used by the Spaniards in Florida in the 1800s. Many of Florida's planters also operated or were connected and joined between our countries such as Haiti, Cuba, and the Bahamas. Haiti, Cuba, and the Bahamas. Okay, so now I happen to personally know from history that the Bahamas was a lot of people moved up around this area. Let's move up around this area and this area. Now, Cuba and Haiti, I mean, more than likely all of them was down here because that's where they all are. Me being from Florida, I know this. But you have 3 groups of people right there from that one group of people, the Gullah. As early as 1689, enslaved Low Country freedom seekers found their way to independence by escaping south into Spanish Florida on the Underground Railroad. Many mixing, so my people right there had a mix to do with the Underground Railroad, something to do with the Underground Railroad. Many mixing with Native Americans. As a result, free Gullah and Black Seminole communities were established. All right, so easily enough, now we can use critical sense and common thinking. If the Gullah people and they the last step to do will be to figure out who came from what group of people came from what. The African people of Haiti derived from various areas spanning from Senegal to the Congo, most of which came from West Africa, with a considerable number also coming from Central Africa. Some of these groups include those from the former Congo Kingdom, Benin, or the Ewe and Yoruba in Togoland. All right, so real quick. All right, Salakia, I'm back. Salakia about that. All right. So Afro-Bahamians are an ethnicity originating in the Bahamas of predominantly African descent. They are descendants of various African ethnic groups, many associated with the empires of Ghana, Songhai, and Mali, the various Fula kingdoms in the Oyo Empire, and the Kingdom of Congo, to name a few. All right, so you see right there that more than likely my people would have been the Haitians. More than likely my people, because we've already looked at my people in South Africa, and that matches up geographically and with the research. If the research lines up, the only thing you have to do after that is make a sound decision based off what you found at that point forward. I'm going to put that in scriptures. That's how I wrap this video up. All right, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 1 and 18. Let your sins be as scarlet. They shall be as white as snow. They should be red like. And we need to figure this out. When you come down to your genealogies, a lot of brothers just run from it. It's not good to run from it. You got to face it head on, and that's where the faith comes in. Because you got to have faith that, you know, people get afraid that they might find something they don't want to find, or maybe I might not be Israel, but all you have to do is seek, and you will find, man. Knock, and the doors will be open unto you. That's what the word says. Let me pull that out, man. Esau has tried to hide this stuff from you. But God said he's going to reveal the secret places. God says every hidden thing is going to be let known. So there they tried to hide your genealogies from you. The Most High still provided us with methods and ways to decipher who we are, even on a personal level, because he knew you before he shaped you. Before you were in the womb, he knew you. Jeremiah 49:10, but I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places. He's letting the world know who you are. Esau, we know what the world, we know who you are. And everything that you tried to hide, your secret places, all these secrets from us that you tried to keep about who we are and about what our mission is to do, the Most High said he's revealing it. The Most High says he's revealing it. Salakia. This is the book of Jeremiah 49 and 10. The Most High says he's revealing it. It says, and he should not be able to hide himself. He can't hide anything right now. Nothing is hidden right now. Everything is out in the open. We know that you're lying about being Egyptian. We know that you're lying about being Indian, Aryan. We know you're lying about being everything. We know who you are. The secrets have been made known. The jig is up. Israel knows who Israel is, and Israel don't want to do nothing but be Israel right now. It says his seed is spoiled. Your seed is spoiled. You've mixed with everybody. You've been spread across the land, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. So all them secrets that he's been trying to keep from us is being made open, but you have to have the will to seek, to study, to sit there and say, okay, I have the faith to not only take the scriptures, but to take the scriptures and line them up with history and fact to prove what's right and to prove what's wrong, to rightly divide the truth. How can you, as a lawyer, how can you sit down and say that you understand X and the third, but you haven't sat there to get all the evidence? You can't make a right ruling or a righteous judgment based off of that. You just can't. It's just not going to happen. It's just not. So with that, this is your brother Dawad Zayan. You know, I want to give a shout out to Chief Ephraim and all the brothers at HoI. I want to give a shout out to all the righteous women of God standing by their husbands, all the righteous children and man children standing strong. I want to give a shout out to all the brothers and sisters worldwide doing the work and laboring, man, and just laboring to get this work out, you know. This is your brother Dawad Zayan Lawya. Later on, I'm probably going to do a video on, I might do another video on Rome, on Esau. But from then, now till then, you know, we have camp today. We will be making a video about that. We might be going live later on the HoI homepage. Shalom. Kwame Ashala.